So this video was sponsored by Aniba.com, which is a new gaming marketplace with over 9,000 digital products. Now they will bring you the hottest deals in the market of any title, whether it be new or old, and with their excellent Trustpilot score, you can be rest assured that you will receive the product and that your gaming will continue without a hitch. Now, they even host massive sales with discounts up to 70%, and to help me out, you can make that 73% with my 3% discount code by just using SuperRebel when you are on the checkout. So go ahead, check it out. The link is in the description below. What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we have a bunch of new information to go over because there has been a brand new interview over at the Paris Games Week with the lead designer at Crystal Dynamics, where he revealed a bunch of new information regarding working with Insomniac games maybe in the future, and a whole bunch of Marvel characters, Spider-Man, etc. So we have a lot to get through in this video, but before I start it, I have a question for you guys, and that is, of course, what is the most exciting thing or thing you are looking forward to doing first when you get the hands on the game, and what is the best thing you feel we have seen so far for the game? So leave your comments in the comment section below. As always, I know a lot of people's hype has definitely increased since the Marvel's overview video, and this, I guess, takes us right into the first topic, which is about characters being added into this game. Now, I always say the Marvel's Avengers Reddit page, I guess, forum, whatever you want to call it, is one of the greatest places in terms of the community just getting together, because since that video has gone live, we have seen a bunch of crazy stuff. Now, when I say crazy stuff, I mean people posting their own custom characters into the custom menus, and there is a bunch of them. Now, I want to begin with this one, and I will link them all in the description below. We got two Spider-Man ones. We got this one, which is, I also made a custom gear selection screen for Spider-Man, and of course this looks great. I mean, there's multiple different things like Spider Drone, what we already have, quad shot web shooter, strength resilient gloves, and a whole bunch more if you do take a look into that as a whole, and I think this looks crazy. And then there was also another one, which was a loadout screen for Spider-Man. Now, of course, we see this for Iron Man. He has 24 suits, and this definitely does give me a flashback to Spider-Man PS4 in terms of, you know, the suit menu and so forth. But I have to say, this really just increases my idea on what I would really love to see pushed into this game of just creating custom characters as a whole. How good would this be? Now, on top of that, we had a gear selection for Moon Knight, and again, it just works so well. It looks really, really good. People are doing their own custom gears, as you can see on the options. And then the last one, which I thought was really cool, is of course Daredevil, and again, he has his own custom little, I guess, abilities. Now, these things are working really, really well, so I want you to leave your thoughts on these in the comment section below as well, on who out of, I guess, the three of these would you really like to see. But in terms of Spider-Man, he is definitely right at the top of the list, but this is just amazing. I really, really think it just gives you a better, you know, insight on how good this game can be when they especially go and add more characters. It's just going to do very, very good in my opinion. But again, is Spider-Man going to be in the game? Are we going to see anything in terms of footage for Spider-Man before the game's release date? What is going on with this character as a whole? Nobody actually knows, unfortunately, but it's very safe to say that he is more than likely going to be into the game. Now, this leads on to the interview with, of course, the lead, I guess, designer at Crystal Dynamics, who is called Philip. Now, there was, of course, it was literally a French interview, so we did have to translate things, but I'll link the article in the description below. But he reveals a bunch of very, very interesting details. So I want to go through, I guess, 3 or 4 of the main points that I took from this and really thought they were important. And again, you guys will definitely see how this game has potential to be a very, very great game, just not from what we've seen, but from the information he is about to give. So to kick it off, they did ask him, the structure of this Marvel's Avengers is often compared to a Destiny game because of the promise of a story that would last for several years, but with the new generation coming soon, Are you not afraid that players leave out the previous consoles for the news, or do you plan to bring the game to these consoles with plans to move from one machine to another? Now, he replied back to saying that, which was, we do not have the right to talk about other consoles besides those already announced, but what's important for us is that the game progresses after its release. Players who wanted to have their favorite characters can get them without paying a dime. Now that's what we focus on. We want to ensure that the game evolves while being respectful to the player, the character, with the places to which they are attached, which will come for free. It's enormous. I think a lot of online games make mistakes with the way they give their content. The idea is that if a player enjoys the game, if they continue to play and receive content, that way we can offer content in parallel, but I do not like it when there's a pay-in wall just to keep enjoying the game. It's not really our style. So that kind of sums up with all these in-game microtransactions that we did hear about, or I guess was mythically discussed since the overview video about getting gears to unlock characters, etc, etc. We kind of already know briefly how that's going to go. Now this is where things get interesting. So the next question to him was, the 8-day demo proposed a rather closed level, the rest will be really more open, but will we be able to explore these areas and go in search of hidden objects or secret places like loot for our characters? Now he responded to that by saying, absolutely, we mainly showed the tutorial which allowed to present the characters at the beginning of the game. Some levels specific to the characters will be cinematic and fairly linear, but as soon as it is possible to choose his hero, the levels will be much more open. There are several environments in the game like cities, forests and deserts, and in these levels, depending on the controlled hero, it will be possible to access different places with challenges that can be solved in different ways. And I guess that's essentially going to that part in this question, like secret places, but you can only do it with certain heroes, so your abilities might be restricted and so forth, but either way it does sound very interesting. Now the next one was, speaking of famous characters, what can we expect between Spider-Man and this Marvel's Avengers game? Now his response was actually quite interesting because it does lead into the next one about Insomniac games as well. So he replied back by saying, the Insomniac game Spider-Man is a great game, and I'm very happy that the superhero games are starting to have a better quality of narration. We feel like we are starting to get into an era where superhero AAAs have better stuff, not just great action sequences. As a result, we are often asked the question, is it a shared world? Do you see that as a Marvel's gaming world? I love these questions because even if it's not the kind of task I'm working on, as a fan and developer, it's an honor to talk about it. The idea that we can contribute to Marvel's world by adding characters or writing stories is incredible. And then that led on to the next question, which was, so you're not against the idea of a collaboration with Insomniac games? Now his response to this was very interesting, and I never really thought of a collaboration in general if that was ever to happen, but when that question was thrown out there, it really did make me think how good that could possibly be. But he replied back to it by saying, these things are very difficult because each studio has its own way of working, but it is a certain that we share a common identity with the image of Marvel. I would like that in a hypothetical world, it would be really cool, but it's really feasible. Now, again, it's saying it's not completely impossible, but it would be difficult if it was to happen. Either way though, like I said, it was never a question that I personally ever thought of, but now just hearing it does give you a better perspective, and if it was to even happen, I think it would be absolutely crazy. But again, you guys can check out this full interview, which is, you can just basically go ahead and read it. The link is in the description below. He does go through a bunch of other stuff about co-op and so forth. It's not anything extremely new that we haven't heard about, but there are slight bits of information in there as well, so you guys can go ahead and check it out. It really does go on for a while, but I guess these are the key things that I personally thought are very interesting to us because it's all questions we did have. And then on top of that, again, going back to the beginning of the video, what we showed about these characters being added in the game, just these fan-made characters and so forth, the way they are being put in the game, it just looks like it can work well. And I've always said, you know, if it's going to be a game that is going to be enjoyable for years to come and so forth, they're consistently going to be updating it, which means there definitely has to be new characters. But then hopefully that does lead into my great idea, I guess, which I know a lot of you guys really do support, which is, can there just be added, well, can they please just add a little option? When I say a little option, I don't know how hard it would be, but just a little option or feature where we can create our own characters, or the community can, and then the most requested for that month gets designed, gets added into the game. I think that would work very well, because eventually we can make our own superheroes within this game that then become popular, and it would just go on from there. But you guys get in the comment section below and let me know what you think about that. That's going to wrap up this video here. As always, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and until the next one, adios amigos.